So I want to dig into one or two of those tools for you a little bit, just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. So in complexity thinking, we have a number of different tools, a number of different things we suggest you learn and understand that will help you uh, solve complex problems. And Scrum is in there as well for those that are familiar with Scrum. It's important to understand what complex problems are. So in 1967, a scientist by the name of Wes Churchman defined complex problems in three categories. Simple problems are those defined as having a known problem and a known sort of a consensus on the actual solution. A complex problem, what's known as type 2 problems, have an agreed upon problem. We all agree what the problem is, but we can't agree on the technique to solving the problem. And then finally, type 3 are described as wicked problems, where we can't reach a consensus on what the problem is, let alone how to solve it. So this is where 5 why analysis fails to work, unfortunately. So some of the new tools, and this is actually 21 years old. It's not that new. It was developed by Professor David Snowden, a friend of mine, when he was originally at IBM and then subsequently. And it's really just a small, simple decision-making framework which allows you to decide where you are, where your problem is, and the best way of dealing with it. And to make that a little simpler, I sort of drew this diagram. On the right-hand side, you've got systems theoretical approaches. So if you're in a system that's ordered, it's linear, it's predictable, very much like Toyota's production system is ordered and predictable, then you are very much able to use the 5 why analysis types of tools. And the difference between clear and complicated is in complicated, you need experts. In clear, you don't really need experts. We move across to the left-hand side of the Cynefin framework, and now we're into the chaotic world and the complex world, which is unordered, non-linear, unpredictable. It isn't leveled production. We don't know what we know until we know it. So we need different tools to help us navigate that world of complexity. And that's a lot of the things that we're facing both in life and business currently. Some of the tools and techniques to help you in complexity thinking, one is weak signal detection. How do you know what you need to know before you need to know it? So if somebody was able to tell you the impact of COVID-19 in January, would you have made different decisions than you've made now? Well, we waited till very late in the day. And the weak signals were there. There was plenty of data and information around early part of the year. And they're even finding data now back as early as September of 2019. We failed to detect the weak signals. We failed to prepare adequately. And our two lean supply chains are now suffering as a result of that. One of the techniques is called Sensemaking. I'm not going to read all this to you. You'll get the handouts. But the essential thing is we have new ways of detecting the patterns in the data. Big data is great, but what we actually need is useful data. And there are techniques to actually survey your customers, your collaborators, your partners, even do mass sensing in large populations, and actually detect patterns which allow us to make sense of what we're seeing so we make better decisions. And whether that's a change in the market, the move to electrification, the reduction of the demand for oil, or other products and services, sense making is a key technique we need to learn to enable us to make better, faster decisions, and so become more agile through that emergence. The best way to sense is using your human sensor network. People are the best detectors of sense, or best sense-making detectors. So listen to your employees. Do not ignore them. They're the best weak signal array that you possess.